up between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Kansas City Chiefs. It's Trevor Lawrence. It's Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs are favored by 9 points. It's a 4:30 p.m. kickoff on Saturday on NBC. The over-under for this game is 52.5 points. So as I look at this matchup, these two teams faced off against each other earlier in the season. The Chiefs beat the Jaguars in Week 10, 27-17. In that game, Trevor Lawrence went 29-40. He threw for 259 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Christian Kirk had 9 receptions, 105 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns. For the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, he went 26 of 35. He threw for 331 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. So, as I look at this matchup between the Jaguars and the Chiefs, let's start off with the Jaguars. Because I believe at this point, the Jacksonville Jaguars, ladies and gentlemen, they are playing with house money. And I heard Doug Peterson talk about this in his press conference this week because no one expected the Jacksonville Jaguars to be where they currently are. I mean, throughout the season, they were battling with the Tennessee Titans. It took a defensive score at the end of the game against the Tennessee Titans at home for the right to win the AFC South crown. They won that game. And then on wildcard weekend, last week in Jacksonville against the Chargers go up 27-0. Trevor Lawrence was struggling in that game, and everyone counted the Jaguars out. And the Jaguars came back, and they played a sensational second half. And honestly, in this matchup against the Chiefs, the Jaguars are playing with house money because they have already overachieved this season. They've already overachieved. And Trevor Lawrence has already elevated his game and progressed from his rookie season to his sophomore season. This year, Trevor Lawrence, 25 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 4,113 passing yards. He completed 66% of his passes. Trevor Lawrence made tremendous strides from his rookie season to his sophomore season. And that's because of the leadership of Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson, alongside Brian Daboll, should be in the conversation for NFL Coach of the Year honors. Because Doug Peterson, as a head coach, he is 51-45-1. He's won 53% of his games. The man is 5-2 in the postseason, so he's won 71% of his games, including a Super Bowl run with Nick Foles. And in that Super Bowl, the Eagles were the underdogs in that game. Nick Foles going up against Tom Brady, Doug Peterson going up against Bill Belichick, and the Philadelphia Eagles. They showed up and they played with house money like the underdogs that they were in that game, and they upset the New England Patriots in that Super Bowl. And this is the same circumstance here. I expect the Jaguars to play loose, and the Chiefs are the favorites in this game. They've been to 4 consecutive AFC Championship games. Patrick Mahomes is 4-0 in the divisional round playoffs, and he's won an NFL MVP. He's won a Super Bowl. So the Chiefs are going to be playing tight, and the Jaguars are going to be playing loose. Also, I expect the Jaguars, once they are in Chiefs territory, I expect the Jaguars to go for it on 4th down a lot in this game. Because when you playing Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in Arrowhead, in that building, you can't beat the Kansas City Chiefs kicking field goals. You got to score touchdowns. And that's what it's going to take for the Jaguars to pull off the upset. They got to score touchdowns, not settle for field goals once they get into the red zone. That's going to be one of the major keys for the Jaguars. I look at what Trevor Lawrence did in the second half against the Chargers. This is drive by drive. In Trevor Lawrence's first 7 drives against the Chargers last week, he went 5 of 18. He averaged 1.9 yards per pass play, 0 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. His passer rating was 0. In his last 5 drives, Trevor Lawrence went 23 of 29, 8.7 yards per pass attempt, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. His passer rating was 142.6. So he was sensational in the second half of that football game and on the last 5 drives. He had to play perfect for the Jaguars to have a chance, and he did just that. He did just that, and he gave them a chance to beat the Chargers in the second half. And the Chargers, they were the Chargers, and they gave them an opportunity with their terrible play calling. But I thought last week what helped Trevor Lawrence was also his receivers. And I believe this Jaguars receiving core is very, very underrated. You got Christian Kirk. Last week against the Chargers, Christian Kirk had 8 receptions, 78 receiving yards, 1 touchdown. The tight end for the Jaguars, Evan Ingram, he had 7 receptions, 93 receiving yards, 1 touchdown. Zay Jones, 8 receptions, 74 receiving yards, 1 touchdown. And Marvin Jones had 3 receptions, 29 receiving yards, 1 touchdown. So I thought that the Jaguars receiving core helped Trevor Lawrence out significantly in this comeback last week against the Chargers. They helped him a lot. And I think their receiving core is very, very underrated. And Trevor Lawrence, now that he's at this point in the playoffs, he's going to get an opportunity to see how you have to play above expectations once you at this point in the season. The rest of the quarterbacks that are remaining all have expectations. Joe Burrow has expectations with the Bengals. Josh Allen has expectations with the Bills. And we know Patrick Mahomes has expectations with the Chiefs. Trevor Lawrence has never lost on a Saturday. So, ironically, this game is going to be played Saturday afternoon in Kansas City. Now, when it comes to Patrick Mahomes, we know how great Patrick Mahomes is. Patrick Mahomes, this is his stats in the postseason. Patrick Mahomes is 8-3. He has 28 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 3,381 passing yards. He's completed 66% of his passes in the playoffs. So we know that Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback remaining in the Elite Eight. He's the best quarterback left. He is the quarterback that is, when it comes to his trajectory, the man is headed to the Hall of Fame. And more than likely, here in a few weeks, he's going to win his 2nd NFL MVP award of his career. But I think what's going to be key as well for the Chiefs is going to be Travis Kelce. We know Travis Kelce is the best tight end in the NFL. And I want to see if that Jaguars defense, how are they going to attack this Chiefs offense? How are they going to tackle? Because, you know, Travis Kelce is their best weapon offensively. He's their best weapon overall. And you know Andy Reid is a tremendous play caller for this football team. But I'm looking forward to this matchup with the Chiefs offense versus the Jaguars defense. You look at the Chiefs offensively. They're first in total yards per game. They average 425 total yards per game. They are first in passing yards per game. They average 298 passing yards per game. They average 29 points per game. That's ranked first in the NFL. Defensively, the Jaguars, they're not very good. They give up 365 total yards per game. That's ranked 23rd in the NFL. They give up 239 passing yards per game. That's ranked 28th in the NFL. That plays right into the hands of Patrick Mahomes. And they give up 43% of their third down plays defensively. That's ranked 29th in the NFL. So that's not very good. So that Jaguars defense, in order for them to have a chance, they're going to have to force 1 or 2 turnovers in this game. Now, here's the thing. In their Week 10 matchup, the Jaguars won the turnover battle. They won the turnover battle 3-0 and still lost the game 27-17. If the Jaguars want to have a chance, defensively, they have to force a turnover. That's their only chance. Offensively, they're going to have to score touchdowns and not kick field goals in the red zone, because I believe that Trevor Lawrence can move the football on this Chiefs defense. Defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo for the Chiefs, I've never believed that his defensive football team, that Chiefs defense is not very good. I think it's bottom half in a lot of major statistical categories. And we know that their best defensive player is Chris Jones. That's another thing the Jaguars are going to have to do. They're going to have to protect Trevor Lawrence because Chris Jones is the best defensive player on the field for the Chiefs. But I believe that the Jaguars offensively can definitely have some success throwing the football, because against the pass, the Chiefs are ranked 18th in the NFL. So they give up close to 221 passing yards per game. I think Trevor Lawrence could definitely have some success against that defense. Travis Etienne, their running back, he played in some big games alongside Trevor Lawrence, dating back to their days at Clemson. For the season, 220 carries, 1,125 passing yards. He's going to be key as well. They got to run the football. But Jaguars playing with house money. Doug Peterson knows Andy Reid very well. Doug Peterson coached under Andy Reid. Doug Peterson also was a backup quarterback to Brett Favre at one point in his career. So Doug Peterson, he knows a lot when it comes to playing in playoff games, and he knows what it takes, and he doesn't get flustered. That's what I love about Dougie P. But overall, I believe that the Chiefs are a better football team than the Jaguars are, and the Jaguars had a tremendous season. They definitely have a lot to build off of heading into next season, but their season will be officially over around 7:30, 7:45 p.m. Saturday night. I'm rolling with the Kansas City Chiefs to beat the Jaguars in Kansas City. I'm going Chiefs 35, Jaguars 24.